Hi, it's Laura over at Hyperstamper. I'm just about to put this new junk journal made from a 1920s antique book into my Etsy shop, hyperstamper.etsy.com. And remember, if you order any of my journals on Etsy, all of the shipping is free in North America, which saves you quite a bit. So a reminder that everything in these journals is authentic, antique, and vintage ephemera. And I don't pierce my spines, even when they're old and grungy. I just try to be as true to the spines in the book as I can be, using all the original first pages when I can. And this one is no different. This is one I've done two of these in the past. They're very hard to come by, but it's the title that just blows people away. So art stories for a junk journal is amazing, especially when people do mixed media in them. So it's really fun. It's old. It's been well used. It's got lots of staining, but that just, to me, makes it more beautiful. I've added a good amount of really old vintage beads on here to match the cover. And then it's more colorful, this one, than my neutral tones. Just antique paper is neutral. There's no way around it. I don't purposefully do it. So when I can add color, I get very excited. This is a piece of wallpaper border that was hand paint rolled in the early 1900s, and it's quite spectacular. So that's a piece that had a little dog in it. And then this is from a 1942 magazine, The Weekly Star, and I just love the color of it. And that is the original first page there, as well as this one here. And I love that it has these stamped numbers on it. And if you can see here, somebody has picked out away at it, but it's got the original library stamp on it. Very cool and very colorful. So this I love because, again, it's an art piece. So this was all about tints and shades, teaching kids to use art. Look at this gorgeous plate. Look at the color of that. It's so beautiful. I just love it so much. A family going for a little hike up on the hill. Another 1930s children's book page here. Little tatted flower and tatted leaf. And these are antique plates that were never used. I got a whole box of them that had never been opened, so that's pretty cool. And then in here, just another little early 1900s, actually, book page that I put antique paper in the back, so you could journal more. There is a vintage art book plate here. Again, it's about art, and just these wonderful early 1900s botanical pages. A little hidden spot in there. And then being in that art theme again, I love these ads about being an artist. Take a free art talent test. Just hilarious. So really fun. This came out of a music magazine in the 50s with words to the songs there. And this is a plate from an art book from the 50s as well. So that's over 70 years old. And that one, I want to say, is a Renoir or a Pissarro. It might be a Pissarro. I apologize. We can Google that. And this is really cool. These are collectible. They were German books. They came in sets of 20. And this one I just thought was a really cool art one. But the images in here are fantastic. So somebody who really likes to do collages or things like that, they can use these pieces or just keep it because it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. So you can, there are people who sell the whole sets on Etsy. They're quite valuable and collectible. This is from the 1940s, another very collectible piece, but I thought it was very artsy-fartsy, and who doesn't remember their grandmas having these arborite tables and counters in their homes? Really fun. That's a double-sided sample, a little more rare. And this is from my brother-in-law, who gave me a whole stack of very old vintage recipe cards. And I didn't have to do any tea dyeing or anything. They're just perfect the way they are. And this is another plate from a early 1900s book. Just of some gentlemen having a drink on the patio of a castle, perhaps. This is from 1856, this piece here. And I just love these 1800s illustrations. They're very detailed. You can tell it was on a, this one was actually on a wood block because, nope, this one was on a metal block because I can see the lines crossing. So whenever you see lines crossing in an illustration, the printer used a metal block rather than wood, which is pretty cool. Okay, so little lesson for you today. I put an empty pocket here so that you could stuff your own things in that one, and that's a early 1900s children's book page. Little waterfall set here for you to journal on, and then a Pittman shorthand lesson book page there from the 50s. Little tab up here. And I got a new tab punch, so I'm pretty excited to use that. Yeah, 1940s theater arts page, but look at that old record player, Neato Pepito. And this is a wonderful, because this is an art journal. God, I went through my collection so many times. I finally found it. This one is from the Louvre in Paris, and that is a very old postcard, early 1900s. And then this is just spectacular. It's not an art piece, but I love it. And it is from 1924, but look at the work on there. Isn't that beautiful? So that was the first pages of a book that I got that didn't even have a cover or anything on it. It was just the pages. So I kept that piece, and I hope you enjoy it if you're the owner of this. This is just from 1926, the Delineator. This is the June issue, and I just really love the images on there. Look at this beautiful lady. Listerine dandruff. And that's not what Listerine is anymore, but look at this. It even had some color, which is a big deal in a magazine in the 20s. The advertiser would have had to pay a lot for her to have those red lips for that dandruff ad. Love this as a piece of a book back here. And this is from a 1939 American Birds book. Nice plate there, hawks. That's from a Monopoly box top. I kept all the letters. I thought they were really cool. Another early 1900s botanical plate there. There's the rest of that Theatre World magazine from the 50s, and this came from the early 1900s Scottish Highlands. Isn't that pretty? Love it. And this is another one of those wonderful 1956 pages. Hit Parade. So lots of music, fun music pieces in here. There's the fan club. So fun. It's really, really fun and nostalgic to go through all of those, even though I wasn't born in the 50s. I remember my mom and dad talking about that. So, journaling envelope. This is a 1937 diary page. Nothing written on it. I can change the date out if you'd like me to, if I have it. Just let me know at checkout on Etsy. This is really cool from the early 1900s. The caribou crossing the lake, which they still do to this day, of course. And this is a really cool Pacific States map here. So we got Washington, Oregon, California. Very cool, and that's from 1920s. And I left the rip in it to be, that's how it got ripped, and I'm just leaving it. But if somebody wanted, they could trim that. This is a really fun little article about chimpanzees, sorry. And here is another pocket, and in that pocket, I would like to add this wonderful bird plate. And that is vintage. Birds, eggs, and their nests, 1920s children's book page. Here is a 1930s book page here with some journaling, and that is a child who scribbled on there, and I left it because I love it. I love seeing kids from the past's thought process and artwork. Beautiful stamps, 1950s postage stamp collector's page. Look at this beautiful bedspread here, and that is from a 1950s crochet book, vintage playing card that you can upcycle, have some fun with. A vintage Netherlands stamp, just a little booklet here with some paper in it. I just thought that was really beautiful from a hardcover book, or sorry, a hard page book. And this was a handwritten note here from an article from 1885, and that's with a quilled pen. That one was written on. Another wonderful little The First Snow. I love these. This is from the 1940s or 50s. It is the coronation of Queen Elizabeth. And I didn't cover them because I actually thought it was quite historical and beautiful. There. And just lovely little stories and poems here. And this is a children's book cover. It was in very bad condition, so I cut the part out that I could save, and I made it into a pocket. I just thought it was fun, and put another children's book page inside it. Why sandals? Antique paper on the back so you could journal. And you can fit all kinds of stuff back there. And more children's book pages, doily making, and these are the last pages of the book. So there it is, going into Etsy. I hope you enjoyed it and love it as much as I loved making it. Come back soon.